Right guys, this is going to be a 100k Nightfall solo on the Tree of Probabilities. For those that just want to see the run, then skip to the time on the screen. For the rest of you, I can show you my subclass and weapons. So first of all, I'm on a Titan, of course. For Titan mains, you can either do a Arc Warmind build if you wanted to. You can do a Sentinel middle tree, top tree, whatever you want to do. For this run, I'm doing a Sunbreaker bottom tree, Sunspot build with Thermite Grenade and Tower and Barricade. We are pairing that with Phoenix Cradle, the exotic boots. This basically buffs some warrior perk, which I'll get into on the run. As you can see from my weapons, I'm using Long Shadow, the Vanguard Sniper, Risk Runner, and Throne Cleaver from the Heroic Menagerie, the sword. The reason why I'm using these types of weapons is that these are more easily obtainable than some other weapons, and some of the more harder weapons to obtain, like Izanagi's Burden, Mountaintop, although it's a little bit easier now. Eriana's Vow is a big one. Eriana's Vow is not in the game currently as a drop. If you have not played Shadowkeep, Season of the Undying, or whatever, you can't get Eriana's Vow. Now, there's a lot of good players that might not have played. They might have seen Shadowkeep and thought, this is just day one or whatever, and might not have played it, but they might be back now. I've seen a couple like that. What are they going to do? Because they still maybe want to do solos, but they haven't got Eriana's Vow, and Eriana's Vow is the most consistent solo Nightfall weapon that we've got. Hands down. You can't argue with that. It is. Especially with Catalyst. So, they're going to struggle, even though they'll be really good players. So this is a video aimed to them and to people who haven't got the weapons that I mentioned. Hence why I'm using them. As well, not using anti-barrier mods. You are going to need to have a mod on for Maetors, so I've got Disrupting Blade on. And if you were up against Unstoppables, you would need the Unstoppable mod, but there's no Unstoppables in this one. As far as our armor perks, we had 100% Discipline, just to play into this Phoenix Cradle and whatnot, so we get more nades. We've got Sword Ammo Finder on, Enhanced Sniper Rifle Loader, Double Sword Reserves, and Enhanced Sword Scavenger with Passive Guard and Recuperation. Passive Guard buffs you, like you take 50% less damage. It's massive, so you need to be putting that on. Obviously you'll need to level up your artifact fully for it. Basically that's the loadout.
And its campaign for the Infinite
Anyway, you can summon your Sparrow for extra time, just save on that. First thing you want to do is take out the turrets, so I took the one out to my left. There's one to your right as well, but I didn't end them taken out, as you don't really need the score. It's more about time. This is more of a timed run. Straight away, what we're looking to do is group up the Cabal. I can take them out with Risk Runner, but it works best when they're sort of grouped up. To do that, if you come back to the entrance, they do group up quite nice, like so. Okay, once we've done with that, we can move on. Like I said, it is a little bit of a time run. It's not super intensive, but you don't want to be costing yourself too much time, as you want to go right into the final phase on the boss fight. Okay, no. Straight away, we want to put a nade in on those goblins to get the points. If you don't tag them, you will not get any points for them if the Cabal kill them. Now we were waiting for our Risk Runner to proc, so we can get out of this Cabal nicely. Obviously we've got a champion. This is our first champion that we're taking out. Before we deal with him at all, we want to take out the Cabal. And the first thing what we want to do, since we've got no Erianas, no anti-barrier mods or anything like that, we want to bait out the first shield. The reason being is that you get more time to DPS the champion on the second shield. It's more consistent. We bait it out, we wait in hover, and then we just use light swing. If you are using Throne Cleaver on a Titan, Throne Cleaver is amazing, but it's slow. So you just want to be doing light swings, you don't want to do a heavy attack. Not only that, it's an ammo intensive run this, so you need the ammo. And obviously if you've got a relentless strikes one, then you're going to get that ammo back. you haven't got a thrown cleaver, you don't need to use that. You can use an adaptive frame sword. All classes can use one. I think the Crucible one's void, so you could use that, for example. What you'll see as well with this run, a couple of times, you will see the video footage skip. It's something that I've had to put up with as a console player for a long time. It's just a problem on PS4 Pro. I think it is on standard PS4 as well, where the footage just skips, which does look bad, especially if I'm doing like speed runs and stuff and it skips midway. Like someone's going to question that. So it's annoying for me, but it's just something that I've got to put up with until PS5 comes up. Obviously, if you're on PC, you're not going to have that problem. Okay, you can just do your recording or whatever, and you'll be fine. Now we've dealt with that plate, we're gonna use our super since we've got one.
Looks like the Vex are trying
Obviously,
to establish control
depending on your run, you could get different types of ads. If you are seeing Fallen in a lot of your runs, you can put Fallen armors on, and you could use more sword ammo if you're going to do that, of course. As I didn't use my sword that much in this particular run, just because there's no guaranteed way. I mean, I've got sword ammo finder on, which does help, yes, but not always. And it's important because our sword's dealing with all the champions, the boss, everything basically. Also, throughout this run I'm trying to get Sun Warrior to proc as much as possible, so that I'm getting that increase in solar abilities. It's always important just to take things one step at a time, but that doesn't mean to say that you're going to be slow in your run. That just means you're doing things in a right manner. For example, here I'm out of position. Classic example. So I'm out of position, get into position, do a barricade, and then I can start working on the ads. I ran out of risk run as well, which went against me. So sure to pick up ammo from each sort of encounter, and then move on. Another thing that I haven't mentioned about Thrown Cleaver is that with it being an aggressive frame sword, it has a built-in ability to bypass shields. That includes match game shields. That makes it fantastic for match game nightfalls, because just because it's void, it doesn't matter at all. It can deal with arc, it can deal with it just bypasses the shield completely, which is really good. This particular player, I didn't want to push it since there's a lot of snipers on there. Obviously we've just got Risk Runner on, no arc to proc it, so it's the standard SMG at that point, so I didn't want to push this plate until I got a couple of the ads down at least. Your best bet is to get as many Cabal plates as you can. There's a couple of the Scions do arc, the Legionaries can do arc, but it's RNG, the forest. That's why a lot of people don't like the Mercury strikes, because of this forest and how RNG it is. Once we're done with that plate, we can move on to the next. I think ad was stuck in the wall there, which does happen. Can happen sometimes. Now we've got our super from the Sun Warrior, so we can use our hammers here. Just worth to use. You can save it if you wish for the tower plate that we're coming up to. You can do it for that, either way, both works. My super ran out, so I noticed there was a lot of ads, so pull back a little bit. If you are one shot behind cover, the best thing you can do is just bring out your sword, because passive guard will proc. Passive guard will proc without you even doing anything. It's passive ability, of course. But what you can also do is block with your sword as well. So it's all stacking together, and the block on the Throne Cleaver is different to all the other swords because it's heavy guard, and the block lasts for a long time. It lasts that long that you end up proccing your health regen. Say you were red, start blocking, it would last that long that you could actually block to then get your health back. So it's a very good block. That's the thing with this sword, there's no downside. So it does the most damage, it bypasses elemental shields, and it has the best block. So there's no downside to it, but the reason why they've done it like that, I think, is because Titan is a close quarters subclass. So it wants that to be the best class with swords. It makes sense. They need to do more of that. Like, they could do other things, have hunters with class specific snipers or something, I don't know. Because they've done that in Destiny 1. That's something they could do again. You know, make hunters be the best class with snipers. And the best warlocks with the best for fusions. Or whatever. So with this tower, like I said, I used my super on the plate prior. But if you are going to use your super on this plate, you need to charge the tower as quickly as possible when all the adds are grouped up. Once they start to separate up, you're kind of wasting your super at that point. But you just need to decide if you're going to take the adds from the bottom or the top. If you're on the bottom, they'll end up eventually coming to you. We're 70% towards our next super, which we are going to want for the next phase, as it can be annoying. With this section, we're going to have another champion, a Centurion with him as well, a solar shielded one. Of course, we haven't got any solar apart from our subclass. Even though all these adds are proc and risk runner for us, still best to be behind cover and out of sight of the champion. The champion sees you while you're trying to kill all these adds. He can still knock you in his move, and it'll just be a wipe at that point. So even though you're super tanky on risk runner, you still want to play to cover. As you can see, the Centurion is jumped up in the air. The awkward thing with the Centurion, because we've only got a solar grenade to take his shield, sort of in his AI to jump out your nade. As soon as you nade him, he's going to jump either to the left or right or up. So it's awkward, and not only that, he hides behind the champion. Now, because we've got no anti-barrier mods to do with the champion, it's an awkward situation. That's why the best thing for me in this run was just to use my super to take out any remaining adds, and then the Centurion, because we want to deal with the champion last. If we were to just charge the champion now, even though we've got passive guard, with the adds up, it would just be a wipe. We're also baiting out his shield super as well. Have our sword out, passive guard's procced, so we can survive, and then we can go in. I don't know how long his shield is up for. It's just something you've got to get the timing in your head, sort of thing, get the feel for it, for when to charge him and when not. So this section's pretty straightforward, but it did go kind of awkward for me. Basically, you want to take out the two snipers that I did. Once you've done that, you can tag any of the adds below and then move to the top of the tower. Since what's meant to happen is the anti-barrier champion, the Vex one, is meant to stand at the top. The idea is to deal with the Vex sniper first, as if you're down below, the Vex is going to snipe you, of course, while you're trying to kill the other champion. So best to take the Vex one out first. But the anti-barrier champion fell down below, so I had to improvise at this point. Basically, because of how it was situated, I thought I'll bait out the Cabal shield and I'll use him as cover behind sort of the other champions. I can kind of sword him while taking some cover and then block. Yeah, so generally that champion I'm killing now, like I say, he's at the top of the building usually, which is easier, to be honest, because then you're isolating the two champions. It is good when they fight each other though, but as long as there's not a lot of ads about. Okay, so this section's pretty straightforward. All we're doing really is sparrowing through. We've got a Cabal Major here to deal with. We've got an Arc Pool though, so we can proc Risk Runner in this pool, just to easily deal with the Colossus. Got another heavy brick there, so that's handy. You want to be going to this boss fight, to this final encounter, with as much heavy as you can. I know it doesn't sound like a lot, 50, but that's maxed out with double sword reserves. Thing is with Thronecleaver is that, especially if you've got Relentless Strikes on, it goes a long way. It doesn't seem like a lot, but it is. But Adaptive Swords definitely have more ammo overall. And what I'm doing, how I'm killing the champions here, you could definitely kill them the same way with an Adaptive Sword. Also, you would want Void as well, because there's more Void shields to deal with than Solar. So what we're doing here is we're sniping all the ads out first, because we've got another champion straight away. The same thing as what we've been doing the full run. You're clearing out the ads first before you charge the champion. For my particular sniper, it usually takes 2 sniper shots to bait his shield, or just about. 2 sniper shots from Risk Runner. And I use this cover right here, have my sword ready, and then just start light swiping. Okay, so as I was saying earlier with Thronecleaver, so that it can bypass shields, it's very good in that respect, but it's awkward for the Void Shielded Cabal. The ones that have the backpacks and they can blow up. So because I'm bypassing the shield, it means they explode. Generally when you kill an ad with a sword, he'll disintegrate, okay? Like a fusion rifle kill. But that's not the case here, so it's awkward with Thronecleaver. What I've got to do is swipe and guard immediately, as the explosion will kill you. It's happened to me on runs where the full explosion just kills me, so... But if you're doing it with an adaptive sword, they should just disintegrate, they shouldn't blow up like that. With the wanted target, we're not going to be taking him out at all. You would just be wasting a lot of ammo. You could probably stun lock him with the sword, but you'd have to be quick enough to get him into a wall or something before he gets past that little doorway there, or entrance. So we've got Void Shields again to deal with, but before we take them, we're taking the snipers and whatnot, and we're going to take these one by one. Same again. Oh sweet. Light swipe, then block. Yeah, that took half of my health there, so if I hadn't blocked there, that would have killed me there, as you see. Bit of RNG with it, to be honest. Sometimes they don't explode, sometimes they do. So we're going to have 2 champions to deal with here. There'll be one at the boss fight, or just before the boss fight, sorry, and then we'll have one here. So we've got a super to burn, we don't need it at the boss room. So we're going to use it here just to speed this up a little bit, since we're only on 68k, and we haven't got that much time left. The reason why this run sort of slows down is because of all the shield baiting and whatnot. It all adds up. So we wanted to bait out the shield first, and we go for cover, and then we can get this champion. Got this Cabal Major as well, and then we're on to the boss fight itself. So my ammo count isn't the best, but it ends up being enough for the fight. Like I said, Relentless Strikes helps out a lot just to maintain that ammo count. We bait out the first shield. You can use the stairs to kind of stop him from hitting you, like you saw. And same thing. You have to be pitch perfect, by the way, when you are rushing champions. As you saw, he put his shield up, but he was dead. So that's can be quite tight. You have to know the timing of the shield, got to get used to it. when you're doing that without a anti-barrier mod.
Where's this Valis?
Luckily we've got a heavy ammo brick. So with this boss fight, the best thing to do is do as much damage as you can to him in the first room. Don't do a heavy attack until he staggers like so. When he staggers, that's a good time to do it. You don't want to do a heavy attack while he's slamming you. If he slams you and knocks you into the wall, with the modifier being on, you'll probably die. But even worse, you're not going to get the damage you want for the next room. And the next room can be awkward as well, so you want to eliminate the boss being in there at all, or as less time as possible. Right now we're trying to bait the champions in. I was only trying to bait the Minotaur in, but for whatever reason the actual Vex did as well, the anti-barrier sword as well. So as soon as I was saying that, I made sure I blocked with the sword since the harp is pushed, and took them both out like that. These harpies, by the way, will keep spawning until you kill the Minotaur. So but they're not worth a lot of points, so they're not worth to farm for or anything like that. You're best off just getting that room clear and on to the next thing. Because what gives you the most points in this room, or in the boss fight in general, is the champions. You get a lot. As you see, the boss went immune straight away since we've done a lot of damage from the first room. At this point, we're kind of leaving some Cabal up if we can while trying to kill the champion. But that didn't work out there, so I just used my block, went back to cover. See, there's a bit of RNG with this, as the Minotaur can be in the middle, he can be at the back of the map. Just all depends where you are. We stagger him here. I'm weak, so I make sure I do a block in between. As you can see, it's saving runs. Now we'll have another champion, just an anti-barrier to deal with. Before we take him though, we'll take out all the harpies. There's quite a lot up. We're on 98k almost at 20 minutes now, so we're good enough just to sort of tie the run up. Like I said, you get a lot of score off the champions themselves. And then obviously we've got a server as well, so we're going to utilise that in the farm room. I do end up still killing a couple more ads in the boss room, since I end up getting around just over 100k. But obviously we're past the 20-minute mark, so your score decreases a little bit. I end up killing a couple of ads as well, just to secure that I get the 100k score. What you've got to be careful of, obviously that modifier is on, where the increased knockback damage, so you don't really want to have him slam you, he'll just slam you off the map. So best to use left and right cover in the little holes, as he won't slam you in there at least, unless he's in there with you, like now. But it's all about manipulating where he goes. Obviously I noticed I basically had the score at this point, so I just went in for the sword kill. And there we go. So that's basically the 100k. Thank you for watching.
It's always an honor, Guardian. Take care of him, Ghost.